What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This one's about SUNS SLR Senior Investment Corporation, and we're just going to go over with this one just a little bit. So with that being said, let's go on ahead and jump right into it. I've been getting dirty money. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I'm putting out at least one video a week, giving you guys absolutely free content that's gonna help you guys, whether it's long-term, short-term, just in finance and everything like that. So with that being said, let's jump back to the video. Okay guys, let's jump right into this one. So SUNS, you guys obviously can read SLR Senior Investment Corp. But what is this? This is one that you actually don't see a ton of, so that's why I really wanted to cover it, because it is a monthly dividend paying stock. And again, I've been covering monthly dividends now here for like the past year, and I kind of want to just give my 2 cents on this one. So with that being said, let's go on ahead and kind of look into this one. So when you're going to look into this one, and Seeking Alpha has 99.9% of the information that you would ever need to find on a stock usually. You get this. Now, that is a little bit of a worrisome for me. I don't know about you, but when you can't find the actual holdings breakdown, it does get a little bit of a concerning to me. And again, you can go and try to find other things as well, and you can look through Seeking Alpha and kind of understand Solar Senior Capital looks positive, and they do have a good positive outlook. I'm not going to lie. Again, we always like to look at the max of these funds. Now, when you go in and you're looking at these, this one does not sell me on it just because, and this is not something that I would want to be going and running and putting money into, for the sure fact that it has not really appreciated at all. Now, there are a lot of other funds and closed-end funds that we've talked about that hasn't necessarily went running up with the market, but most of them have, at least the funds that I like to invest in, have at least recovered the majority of what happened during 2020, COVID, blah, 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 blah. And then they've also, beforehand, they were consistently up. Now, this one I'm not too scared of because, again, inception, usually when things do IPO and stuff, they fall down a little bit, then they slowly work themselves back up. Now, this one's kind of stayed consistent in between. Let's see, the lowest here before COVID was... well, it's not even going to actually tell me. It's just going to tell me the volume. So you're probably looking at about $14 and some odd cents versus the high end of it before, which was around 19. It looks like it almost got up there and hit 20 a couple times. And before COVID happened, it was sitting probably around that $18, $19 per share. And you guys can look more into that. But right now, you're looking at about that $15 a share. So when we come down to everything, and again, SLR, we want to see what is the dividend yield on these things, because this is what we're investing for. Guys, when you're looking at these, you're not only looking at the dividend investment, of course, but the dividend investment is super important to you if you're doing this for income. Now, if you're not doing it for income and you're doing it for growth, you're probably not investing into these type of stocks. You're probably not investing into monthly dividend stocks. Again, we are investing for our monthly income. That's what we care about for the most part when it comes down to this channel. Don't get me wrong, I have some growth. I've done Apple, I've done Microsoft in the past and things like that. If you know my story, I've done very, very well on those in the past. I think everybody that's ever bought into them has done well. Now, but for these kind of stocks that I like, because again, I want that monthly income on top of my regular retirement stuff. So SUNS is going to pay 10 cents. It looks like it was up to 11 and almost, I think it got up pretty much 12 cents a share, 11.75. So yeah, almost 12 cents a share. But now you're back down to this 10 cents a share. Now, what does SUNS do? That's my biggest question. They are another BDC company. So they are like BlackRock. They're like all these Blackstone, not BlackRock, and all these other all these other capital groups that basically take your money, they use leverage, they invest into other companies that are not yet able to IPO and get money from investors, but they go and invest our money into these smaller businesses to get another higher rate of return. Now, does it always work? No. But does it work for the most part? Yes, because there's there are plenty of businesses out there that can't get public funding, but they can go to these BDC groups and get funding and end up growing their business very well, basically private investments. And that's what you are doing with SNL. So you guys always know I love the portfolio backtester. We do this with absolutely every stock down. This does not determine where you're going to be at in the future. Things change. I mean, dividends change. The stock can change. It can make a bad investment. There are a million different things, but right now you're going to see we're going to compare SUNS to PTY and SPY. PTY is that closed-end fund that I always look at. I personally have a ton of money into it. And then S&P 500, which is SPY ETF of the S&P 500. Want to make sure we're allocating 100% to each so we can just get a good comparison. Now, when you're looking at overall money, obviously the S&P made more money and it beat PTY, which is rare if you've seen any of my other videos. Obviously, SPY beats it, but it's not by much. And the compounding effect is actually going to be greater on PTY later. And you'll see why when we're investing in for monthly income, not overall growth of the account, but income. Now, SUNS stayed with this pretty well and was actually very, very impressive, basically until right before COVID hit. And then when COVID hit, obviously everything tanked. And we've noticed a trend in these videos is these BDCs and stuff have not been able to get their stock price back up to where it was before the pandemic. Now, there's probably a bunch of different factors why there's a lot of money in the S&P, and those companies usually do very, very well. But SUNS is not able. They have started to recoup, but they're just now getting to where they're about break even with before COVID, maybe slightly above break even if you would have bought before COVID. Now, so obviously SPY and PTY are the better investments here. SPY is barely beating PTY like we talked about up here. Now, the other thing is how important is your monthly income. This is what's going to set. Are you living off this, or are you able to just let it sit there and make you money? Now, me, I personally allow a lot of my money to just keep reinvesting into it because I don't have to. I've got other sources of income that I'm happy with, and we don't have to worry about this. So for 2020, obviously 2021 is not over, and we started with $1,000, and back in 2012. And now you're at about $6,353. Now remember, we are investing $500. If you look back up here, this is the big thing, and where we got this number, $500, comes from what the average monthly car payment is in America. So that's where I got that number. If you can afford a car payment, you can afford to go. If you can afford a $500 car payment rather than paying $150 for the crappy Civic or the $100 car when you should be investing, then you should be able to pull off $500 somewhere. Now, again, this one, SUNS is actually going to do very, very well when it comes down to the income. $6,248 last year is what it would have made you. And then PTY is at $8,319. Now, again, I always start out with doing just $1,000 in the account just because we want to just show how well it does grow. Now, let's go put in a number that's more viable. So if that's 1,000, we want to make sure I'm going to put 250,000, which I don't know anybody that's ever been able to retire with less than that. So that's why. Now here you're going to see the big difference here. And again, PTY obviously does make, you're going to have $1 million in PTY, and SPY you're going to have $1 million. SUNS didn't quite make it during the pandemic. Now, but let's go ahead and look at the portfolio income again. This is the big thing. SUNS, you almost made 50 grand. You can live off 50 grand if you make your choices correct. Now, does not mean that you're doing this correctly and you're financially responsible. This is what we're saying. If you're financially responsible, you can live off of PTY $68,000 a year. I know people that live off of $20,000 a year. You can do it. It's whether you choose and what decisions you decide to make with your money. SPY is only going to be at $15,000. I don't know anybody living off $15,000. It's going to be rough. You may be able to do it, but that's going to be really, really rough. SUNS, $47,000, almost $50,000. Obviously, that's about the median in America is $50,000. It's doable. PTY, you're already above that median if you have $250,000. Now, again, you're actually over $250,000 based off of right now you're at about $1 million and you're making 60 grand no matter what. But that's if you had $250,000. You guys can play with these numbers, do whatever you want. Make sure you're happy. 1, 2, 3. Let's go with 100,000 because at the end of it, it'll probably be around 250,000 when we look at these. Okay, about $500,000 is what you're looking at for PTY and SPY, and then your income is at 32,000 and 22,000 for SUNS. Again, SUNS is not a stock that I think that I would want to be investing in, guys. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not going to put any money in this. If I do, it'll be very, very little, and I will allow the dividends to reinvest themselves by themselves for a little while, and then I will probably pull some I will make enough to where I'm getting shares every month, and then I will pull the majority of it and put it into something else that I feel like is going to be better, like a PTY, a UTG, QILD. More than likely, even at this point, it's going to provide more income when it comes down to that. So with that being said, guys, thank you guys all for watching this video. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment. If you guys have any stocks that you want me to go and look at, whether they're quarterly, monthly dividends, or anything like that, let me know. I'd be more than happy to take care of them, and I will see you guys in the next video.